Good moment, my friends. Welcome to Rendezvous with Jamie McGlue. Very sleepy Jamie McGlue today. So we're going to talk about 7 ways to get out of a rut. So I did say I'm sleepy. I meant to look up what to be in a rut means. It's one of those things where, you think you know it, but then if you focus on it, like, what does that mean exactly? But I'm taking it in the sense of like when you kind of feel like you're stuck or you don't know which direction to go in. So it could be you don't know what direction to go in life in some sense, or it could be that you don't even know why or whether you want to do anything or move forward, Do you ever feel like that? Where you're like, what's the point of anything, So, or just, even if okay, it'll be fine. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. It'll pass. I'm going to give you some ideas for just how to like break out of that mindset or whatever and kind of maybe spice up your day, much like this beautiful sunflower to my left and or right. So first, a bit of music. This is something written by Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, the third. When you're here and there, nowhere and everywhere, when and why and how and who can say. Oh, life in a rut ain't feeling so good. And if you got nowhere to go, why don't you break free and embrace the glow of something like what? Okay. So I have a very important sheet of paper which has 7 words and or phrases on it. So, Ivra Hain, number 1, time travel. You heard it right. So, sometimes, you notice like how sometimes you think back on the past and you're like, oh yeah, it just seemed like it was just natural. This was totally normal. Now I look back on me being a teenager, making huge sandwiches with my friends and being like, me eventually getting banned, my friends getting banned by my mum from the kitchen, or being like, you're just ravaging the house. This costs money, you crazy teenagers. But that was just normal. And then now it's like, oh, there's another age, it's kind of nostalgic. Or it could be like, oh yeah, me, I used to live in another city and, like, oh, I used to live in Montreal and I speak French all the time, and that's like, oh yeah, that's cool, thinking back on that. And then the thing is now it's going to be that for the future, So like my life now, I'm going to look back on this in 5 years and be like, whoa, what a cool time, or how interesting, even if things aren't perfect forever, you'll think back and go, oh wow, interesting. What an interesting time. Or that was different, but especially good times. But any time I think you'll find like, if you could travel 5 years back into the past, even choose a point like a week, the worst week of that year, would you want to do that? If it didn't take away from your lifespan, you could just do it, For sure. I'm pretty sure everyone would want to do that. Like, you'll be a bit younger and you will be in this situation, but it's kind of not real. Like, oh, my real life is in the quote unquote future, the new now. And so, yeah, kind of, I can do anything. It doesn't matter. Like these people, it's almost like a dream. Like, and I can kind of, not be moved by fear or confusion or, any kind of limiting emotion or idea. And you can kind of just take the big picture view of like, okay, what do I want? And, given that, what things in hindsight do you wish you had done or hadn't done, you know? And so the thing is, what I'm basically telling you is you can imagine you are your future self time traveling back into the past, which is your present now. So, but okay, Jamie, you know, 37-year-old Jamie is 32 again, and he's doing a podcast, and he's talking about time travel. Oh, interesting, you know. But I think that can kind of make you appreciate, you know, your life with new eyes. If you kind of feel like, yeah, you're going to be an old woman or an old man one day, you know, and you would give everything you can just to be back in this day that you're in right now, you know. And so often we get so caught up with small things and we don't appreciate what we have. But so that's just one way to kind of get perspective and get gratitude, and then get excited and kind of make the most of your day and just enjoy, you know, like go do whatever you want, you know, so long as you're not hurting anyone. You know, you know, of course, in small ways that's inevitable, but like you're not exceeding someone else's rightful sphere of, you know, personal autonomy. Do whatever you want, you know, be free. And so yeah, that's one thing you could do. Time travel, enjoy. Changeling, be a changeling self. You know, like the stories of like, oh, I think that my baby's a changeling. You know, the fairies swapped it out while I wasn't looking. You know, people used to think. So there's two ways you could take this, but basically, if you're like thinking, oh, my life's just bland and boring, you know, this just everything seems grey, and can't connect to a feeling of, you know, excitement or happiness or purpose. It seems kind of dull or whatever, unbearable even, you know, be like, oh, it's just, you know, I'm irritated with this or that, whatever it is. In some way, it's unsatisfactory, right? Your present moment. Then, of course, the ultimate answer to all these things, which isn't on my list, is just stop thinking, you know, get into, it's like spirituality, read The Power of Now, you know, or, you know, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. But basically, yeah, just get into space consciousness, just listening, pure awareness, no concepts, no words, no thoughts, just be, you know. But hey, let's not go there. Wink, wink, although we kind of just did. But hey, that's the past. It's not even real. What are you talking about? So changeling, you can be like, okay, let's imagine someone else is going to be swapped in for me. I'm on holiday. I'm doing nothing. I'm just going to put someone else in my shoes and just kind of imagine, you know, okay, what does this other person want to do? Imagine someone else got teleported into your body. What would they want to do? You know, and that's just another way to kind of think, maybe you'll find new direction or maybe new inspiration to actually do anything. Like, yeah, okay, if you know, someone, let's call him, you know, Henry, all right? Henry's here, or Henrietta, okay? And, what does Henry want to do? And just, you know, just act it out like a movie, you know, but okay, and he's goes, oh, look at these clothes. Oh, maybe, the clothes I'm wearing now, do I want to wear this style? Maybe I'll wear a different style, you know, and do whatever. Oh, let's go, where am I? Let's go wander down the street and find out where we are, you know. Imagine like some guy or gal has just been teleported into your body, like a changeling, and is now here. What would they do? And when you're interacting with people who you might, you know very well, and they think they know you, but they don't realize you're actually Henry. So you can be whoever you want. Henry doesn't know this person. Henry's got no obligations or expectations to meet, you know. Henry's just like, oh, these people think they know me. All right, whatever. I'll play the game, but I want to do whatever I want. I'm just transported into this body, you know. And another way to do it would be to imagine that, you know, it's you, but you've been teleported into someone else's life. Like, so your life, just kind of treat it like, imagine it's like, oh, where am I? Who is this person? This, you know, for me, it's like, oh, okay, here I am, some like white male dude who's just here. Okay. And what am I? Okay, I'm in this house, and okay. And, you know, just kind of, here's my life, and like, whatever the details. And kind of see it as like, okay, imagine you've just arrived here, you are in a different body or a different life, which is fresh for you, just like Henry was teleported here, and just do what you want, but kind of So try it out. Why not? Or try it out for 5 minutes. Report back. Opposite day. Yeah. So just do the opposite. Another thing would be, okay, I'm just going to do the opposite of what I would normally do. If you're like, normally I eat a lot of snacks. All right, maybe I'll just eat nothing, just fast. Or I'm always on my phone. Okay, I'm not going to use my phone all day. Or I'm usually really friendly with people. Okay, I'm going to be like a little bit icy and just maybe mean if you want, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. But maybe some people might need to experiment with that. But at least just don't smile at people. If you're always smiling, being a people pleaser, just look people in the eye. Just don't smile. Just just do what you're doing, and you kind of more introverted. Okay, go talk to people. Go or go to the pub, or stay up all night till sunrise. Or you're a city slicker. You're always going around. Get into nature. Just go wander through it. Where is there a kind of forest sort of thing near me? Go walk go there, wear sandals or thongs, flip-flops, and, go just go there, take them off, or, shoes, whatever, pick them up. Just walk barefoot through the forest, even if it's just a tiny bit of forest on the edge of some park that's near you, or like, exercise, maybe you're, a really active person. All right. Just just chill, do nothing, or you're really kind of, you may be a bit lazy, or you're just very kind of idle. Go do some intense exercise. Just go run until you can't run anymore, and then walk, and then run again as soon as you can, So that would be a thing where you can just shake things up, and during that and after that, you might feel like, things kind of click, like a bit of something which was a bit jammed somewhere in the gears of your psyche kind of comes unstuck, maybe, in theory. Inspiration, listen to podcasts, watch a movie, watch Dead Poet Society, watch Pleasantville, watch Yesterday, that Beatles movie, very good actually, like a recent kind of movie. And read a book. And what a cool thing about reading books, and I guess movies and things, is that they're stories, and our life is a story. The whole human mind is built around storytelling, because that's how we process reality. Situation, next situation, and how the changes, and what is ultimately, like, how does this affect survival? It's kind of built upon that. But then, in order to survive, necessarily our minds have had to kind of grapple with ultimate reality, because that's where we are. And so over time, as survival has been kind of taken care of, our stories have started to flirt and wonder a little bit more at like the deeper things of like exactly what is going on here. But anyway, stories are so built in biologically. Movies, books, they're stories. And so you can kind of enter someone else's story, and you're kind of leaving your own head and your own life, and you can get perspective. So it's like a holiday from yourself, but then also like you can get inspiration from that, and the way they behave, the choices they make, the things that happen, and then that you can bring that back to your life. Like, yeah, I would like to be a bit more like this, or I would like to have a bit more of these kinds of situations, these kinds of influences, and so that can be kind of so not just inspiration of like visions of what do I want to do, but even just or like positive energy, but even just like different things, just different stories, different situations, different characters, ways of being, things to do, etc. And that can maybe give you ideas or feelings about, what you really want to do with your own direction. This could be small, things, or profound things. Journaling. Yeah, journaling, just keeping, writing what you're doing. What did you do today? How did you feel? What did you think about? What are you thinking about? What do you want to do tomorrow? Or, that can be really good for getting perspective on yourself. And so, and if you're wondering why I should do anything, write about it. I don't know why I should care. Full stop. And then what comes next, And just by channeling it out, and then you can reread it if you want, like again, 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 much like, a martial artist drilling a technique over and over again until it's so fluid that it can lead to some new thing that wasn't available at first, or a musician, some point of improvisation which required thousands of hours of practice for it to pop up spontaneously in the middle of play. Then in the same way, you can read through your journal and, paragraph, whatever, write a paragraph, you read it through, I don't know, let's say like 7-ish times, whatever you want. And maybe a certain sentence pops into your head out of nowhere. And maybe it required that kind of sinking it into, deepening that groove in your mind by reading it again and again. And then something interesting pops up, an insight, which you could then explore and elaborate deeper upon. Or you don't even need to reread it. Just write it and just let it flow and, do it short, do a few sentences, do dot points, do a whole paragraph, do pages, whatever you want. So yeah, it can be good for letting stuff out and thinking, realizing what you really think. And then, a page has a much better memory than the mind, at least for certainty of recall in the moment. So you can just be rereading through it and get, perspective on things yourself. Whereas if you try to think things through in your head, you might struggle to be able to keep everything in mind and in order to get that big picture. But anyway, so you can do that. Also dream journaling. So like a dream diary. So just wake up in the morning, have it right next to you, paper and pencil, ideally a cool book, I'd recommend. And yeah, or pen, and just you could do words, dot points, words and phrases, whatever comes into your head. Or you can do, maybe then build up to sentences and, paragraphs. And, if you do it every day, it gets more and more, it gets easier and easier to recall things. And if you do it straight away, you remember things much easier. If you wait like 60 seconds or 120 seconds, it gets increasingly likely that you'll just have a block and you won't remember anything. But that very first, little period of the day, you can still remember these things. And then once you've got your foot in the door, it's like the whole spell is broken and you can remember like a huge amount of stuff. Whereas if you didn't get your foot in the door's closed, you can't go explore, So anyway, dream journaling can also be good for just getting perspective on yourself. And then maybe you go like, ideas of what do you want to do? Drugs. Now, I'm not telling you to do drugs, but I'm telling you that you are a free, sovereign being and you could do drugs if you chose to. Of course, you would have to be aware of what is legal in your vicinity, because while in theory it might seem to make sense that you can put whatever you want into your body, and if anyone, they should, whoever's, if it's poison, then okay, you're taking poison, that's your choice. You could go drink some chemicals, floor cleaner if you want, it's not illegal. But many of these things are not, terrible for you. They could be very good for you in different ways. And different drugs seem to have different benefits that they can offer you. Coffee, like concentration or energy. Sugar, I don't know. Diabetes. Maybe that's not a good thing. But it's delicious anyway. And, energy, I guess. Alcohol, social lubricant, chill you out, make you a bit more chatty. Sometimes can make music amazing too. Marijuana for inspiration or relaxation or just to get a different angle on things. Psychedelics, like LSD or mushrooms or, even MDMA can be more like heart opening, just connect you to love and make you realize love is not a chemical, although you're taking a chemical, but love is like an energy that you can tap into and it's real. And, open-heartedness there and just social connection and excitement and fun. And just relaxation, freedom from anxiety, LSD or like mushrooms, maybe for more mind expansion kind of things, like being able to see yourself more clearly and reprogram your habits so that, you can and then start to have food for thought for when you're sober again, and you can kind of work on that. And so you can kind of build the bridge. You get teleported across the river, when you're on these things, and you can build the bridge back to where you are. Then you're sober again, and you're teleported back to the original shore. But you've started to build a bridge, and you can kind of build a similar kind of structure from this side, and maybe teleport back and forth a few times every few months, maybe, and you can start to build like a new way, a new pathway, and you can get over obstacles. In this metaphor, the river. But in reality, it might be something like overcoming an addiction, or becoming more confident, or learning, clarifying your values and your goals in life. I think for some people, they should steer clear of all drugs, because maybe they're not mentally grounded enough. And so you need to be very aware of that, and, of that danger, and treat these things with respect and reverence indeed. Like, these are, teachers potentially. But everyone's got to be self-responsible here. And if, there's certain, myself in certain times, and then certain people who, we all know, like, it's like they shouldn't be doing anything. They should just be meditating and working on themselves, reading books, trying to get more in shape, maybe. So they've got a clearer, view of things and better self-esteem, or whatever it is, There's people who, they just shouldn't be messing around too much. But I think, on the other hand, there's a lot of people who you might be in a rut, and actually psychedelics or something could be just what the doctor ordered. And it's like, that's going to knock you out of the groove. And even if you're kind of like, I kind of got this intense, anxiety and, mental, kind of a bit scattered mentally, taking psychedelics, that could give you an experience of pure lucidity and knowingness of like what you want to do. And then you get teleported back to sobriety, and it can be significantly healing there. Or, if you freak out, if you don't go with the flow, if you try to control it and resist it, then you'll have a bad trip, and maybe you'd make things worse, So you need to be aware, like, can I let go and surrender and just float downstream and be honest and, learn what I need to learn. So depends if that's the tool for you, but all these things. So different cultures have different, marijuana is legal in Canada, alcohol is illegal in Saudi Arabia, cocaine is decriminalized in Portugal, coffee was illegal in England, back in the day, where they're like, what is this new drug everyone's taking, in the coffee houses, making them think clearly and question the government, So that'll be one potential thing. And it's very natural. Elephants, they eat fermented fruit and they get drunk. Jaguars eat DMT-rich leaves and roll around, like, tripping their brains out, It seems like even tiny creatures seem to do this. So it seems like modification of consciousness is a natural thing we want to do. And all beings, it seems. And so I think the real question is, how does God get high? What's God doing? He's like smoking galaxies or something, like, just, okay, I'm going to send a storm of super comets to smash up Andromeda, and then I'm going to take all that dust, suck it through a wormhole, dry it out with some supernovas, and then I'm going to roll that up in some dark matter and just have a party. Who knows? Anyway, shift your perspective. Socialise, number 7, socialise. Bringing it home to the people, to the tribe. So, like, we're social creatures, and a lot of the time, like, if you're a bit stuck in a rut, it's kind of like, go just be with people, be with friends, or even strangers, or make some friends, join a club, do whatever, go take a class, and you're going to inevitably meet people during that, even if it's just during the training or the class itself. Or even just walk around the place and just get the buzz of people around you, go sit in a cafe, whatever it is, talk to the servers, but the deeper the better, I guess, for social connection there. But just even if you don't talk about your issues, just being around people, you get affected by them and you affect each other, and it's going to help, change your orbit and your trajectory a bit. But then also, ideally you can kind of talk about these things, and maybe people can give you ideas directly about it, or even just what they're doing inspires you, gives you ideas. And so I think just in general, I think a lot of kind of unconscious alarm bells go ringing when you don't spend enough time around people, because traditionally a solitary human was a dead human, because we survived in groups through communication, allowing problem solving. So we can't beat a lion one-on-one, but if there's 10 lions and 10 humans, we can maybe beat them, because we can be like, all right, let's schedule, I'm going to lead it this way, and then you're going to throw a spear, or we're going to lead them this way and throw a bunch of rocks onto them. Or, there's a point where a group of humans, we can, point being, we can solve problems together. So we, if you're alone, I think, or you're just not connecting as much as you could, it seems like that probably, maybe unbeknownst to us, brings in some sort of mental chaos, and maybe weird energy. So just being around people can maybe kind of freshen things up. And so that's basically my 7 tips for how to get out of a rut. So if you like this, please like the video, share it if you want, if you think someone could appreciate it. Comment if you've got something to say. I'll always read the comments. That's really appreciated. And that's it. Enjoy the aforementioned. Much love.